What's the crack, lads? Welcome to Good Game.
That's right, folks. Welcome to Codename Good Game. We are here to talk about the world of gaming this week. Lots of PlayStation stuff, lots of sort of some acquisition shenanigans, and God of War getting crazy reviews. But as you can see and you saw, Mr. DeeBeeGeek, did I just DeeBeeGeek is here. Sir, thank you so much for coming. And
hey, look, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. What's the crack, everybody? I'm the dude that plays video games. How's it going?
I'm the dude that plays video games. There's more though, isn't there? Like
there is, but you know,
I always
I'm that dude.
Yeah, exactly. And I do see Nike here in the chat. Casual Gamer, that's an awesome name. Covalent, and her Hero Man. Guys, thank you very much for coming. I already see things coming in. Steffi says a hello to you. As I said, I know there's some people in my fan base that knows you very well. And this is the first time he and I have had a 1 on frickin' 1.
Yeah, man, this is going to be great.
That's so exciting because we've known about each other for a long time. You know?
Yeah, I would say like years now.
Yeah.
Wherever the time is going, but it feels like it's been years now since we've known each other, really. We've been pretty much, in the same kind of space for a while. So, yeah, it's great to finally do this, dude.
Yeah, seriously, in a one-on-one. And that's the thing about Good Game that I try to do is I always want these to be either a one-on-one or maybe 2 at most, unless it's something kind of bigger, because it helps keep the show compact and everything. But if I could have a one-on-one with anybody, I'm like, I got to do it at some point with DB. And we should have established this before the show. Should I just say DB, or do you care? Or you could say either Tony or Keebs, either or.
You can refer to me as DB. Everybody else does, so that works. Or just D. D works.
D? Yeah. Yep. Okay. I was going to be very immature there.
That's okay. I figured that was coming.
My nickname is Keebs. Pretty much says a lot. I see Casual Gamer, King DB. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, guys, we have things to talk about. In terms of news, we're going to have a friendly good game at the end, which I'm going to have you guys eventually, I'm going to put a poll up and you're going to decide which game that DB plays here. It might involve both of us. It might put him on the spot. You get to help decide that. You also get to be a part of the stream. Drop in your thoughts and comments as we go. Make sure you @ us in the chat. And just really kick things off really quick here, because the first 5 or 10 minutes, I just like to get to know the guests. DB, I don't know, like, this is the gaming focused podcast, but what's kind of an earliest memory you have with gaming that you feel like doesn't happen anymore? Because I have a feeling I know it, and I want to see if I'm right.
So I thought about this, and the first thing that sprung to mind is actually when I used to pull all-nighters with my friends. One friend in particular, when we were very young, I'd say we were about 7, 8 years of age, going on to like 13, 14. But we used to stay up all night and just play like the old WWE SmackDown games. Shut your mouth, here comes the pain. And we used to like make created characters and have our own factions. And we used to just stay up from like, we'll say, I know we'll start probably 9 o'clock in the evening up until about 6 or 7 in the morning, until we're absolutely completely delusional. So that's probably one of my fondest memories, is just having that, those all-nighters with friends and having that personal connection with a friend with gaming, which I feel like is lost in gaming these days.
Because we're so online heavy now. There's so much like online multiplayer or just great single player games that just throw us in. That's a good pick. Like, yeah, I was wrong.
For sure. What did you have in mind? I'm curious.
I thought, because I've seen you post these pictures, and there's people don't remember these days and it's the long lines leading into the GameStops, the malls, to midnight launch, dude.
Yeah, those obviously are big fond memories too, but I think the more personal ones are with friends and growing up with gaming, I think really hits home for me, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like we might have an opportunity to talk about Halo later, but that's another thing. Like Halo 3 and Halo 2 revolutionized online play, but we still had LAN parties for that, and it was fun. And I see, like, I think it's Nike in the chat. Somebody said like all-nighters with Mario Party. 100%. Mario Party is way more fun to play in person than online. Like,
for sure.
It's so anyways, so that's a good one. Hannah has also joined us. I know that's a fellow fan of both of us, so that's cool. I'm glad you guys trickled in here. We did a poll at the start of this for this week, though, and DB, I'm curious if you've played any of these. The 4 highest rated games of the previous week or two, or actually just of October in general, is Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, A Plague Tale Requiem, COD Modern Warfare 2, again, and Bayonetta 3.
Again.
So...
Well, I've played 2 out of 4 games. I played Sparks of Hope, and I'm currently playing Bayonetta 3, which my community know. So Sparks of Hope is fun. I think it is definitely one of those games where you can kind of get lost in relaxation playing it, because it doesn't take like too much brain power to figure out how to work.
How dare you say that? It's a game that relies on your brain.
Well, it does, but like not in like a competitive way, you know? So yeah, that's fun. But Bayonetta for me right now is just chef's kiss. Loving it.
Chef's kiss. Fun fact. One of my most hated phrases. I don't know why, but I totally get the phrase. Yeah, I've only, of those 4, I only touched, I'm currently still working on it, Plague Tale Requiem. It took a while to get into it, but now I'm loving it. And I would have loved to have played Sparks of Hope, actually, but our poll in the chat, what's your favorite October game? They said Bayonetta 3. Not surprisingly, 22 votes. With Sparks of Hope, runner-up, so there you go. You're playing the 2 apparently best in the live chat anyway. So
well, now I haven't played A Plague Tale Requiem, and I actually haven't even played the first one. So
and that's another factor. Yeah, people probably didn't touch them. Yeah, so
but I heard they're really good and they look stunning.
They're so good.
Anyway.
Yeah, if you want a stealth action thing, they're so good. Kels from your community, here from DeeBeeGeek community. Hello all from Link's Geek Gal.
Hi, Kels.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, we have some topics to get to that involves PlayStation. Essentially, subscriptions have gone down. Xbox is once again a millionth for time promising COD, but there's a reason that they're bringing it up. Why it will be on everything. Also, God of War Ragnarok reviews are stellar, and that's probably our highlight conversation. But we're gonna get loaded to some current topics from the week. Okay, so what is our first one? Our first one is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. DB, did you play what's your experience with Call of Duty, first off, really quick?
Let me just put it this way. Like, bare
I don't have much.
minimum.
There you go.
Bare
same
minimum.
Here.
I think the last time I actually properly sat down, played Call of Duty was Black Ops 1. I played through the whole
That's
campaign.
funny. Same thing. Same thing here.
Which is, I'm surprised I did. But I played a lot of zombies in Black Ops 1. So that's literally it. After that, I just didn't really have an interest in Call of Duty. I know it's a popular game and people like shooters and stuff, but for me, it's just something that I was so used to coming out every year. I just lost interest.
Exactly. Yep. Same here. That was same here. Like, we had the same progression, I would say. And yeah, but the reason I think the story was kind of interesting, and even if you're not into COD, I think it's interesting, is there were some serious records broken. I'm going to transition to the screen here, as you guys can see. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it's recent. It's not a remake necessarily. I don't know, reimagining maybe the word. But it made over 800 million within 3 to 5 days. Let's see here.
Insane.
Modern Warfare 2 has sold 800 million worth of copies. And by the way, this comes from Forbes. 800 million worth of copies in its first 3 days of release. And
that's actually insane. I can't believe that. That's actually, I can believe that. I can believe it. It's Call of Duty. It sells every year.
Every year. And there's
Every
something
year.
else that I think is kind of interesting here too, because it says a little quote: the blockbuster opening tops any of the biggest worldwide box office openings of any 2022 movie. Essentially, it surpasses Top Gun Maverick, I was going to say Top Gun Doctor Strange, but it passed Top Gun Maverick, I did it again.
You'll get it right, don't worry.
It's my first show in 2 weeks, guys. I still technically have COVID, but yeah, it surpassed Top Gun Maverick, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and both of those combined their opening like box office weekends. So
wow.
That's insane, in my opinion, and that's the reason why I'm bringing up this story is because, which I guess the previous record by COD was Modern Warfare 3 back in 2011. So
yeah, but you have to admit, like the strategy going into this COD was very clever. I mean, they advertised it as Modern Warfare 2, probably one of the most popular Call of Duty games ever of all time.
That is also
of course,
true.
People, yeah, of course, people are going to buy into it. It's like, oh my god, Modern Warfare 2. It's a reboot or something, right? I don't know anything about it. I know it's like some sort of
reimagining. Soft reboot's probably a good word for it too, but I just think these numbers are crazy, whether you're into COD or not, and it kind of shows why the whole Acti Blizz deal, I feel like everybody just keeps talking about that, and I look forward to the day that the world isn't talking about that anymore. But I do think the drama is somewhat interesting sometimes because we've never seen some stuff like it before. But there is something that I think is kind of interesting to come from this because, as we just said, that is the biggest opening for any COD franchise ever. I think I also forgot to read off something there that I think the previous record or something like that, the only other game that has ever managed to make that much money that fast was Grand Theft Auto 5. FYI.
Whoa. That's actually putting things into context really well, actually. Yeah. GTA 5 was one of the biggest launches. I was actually back to our previous conversation, I was actually in the midnight launch for GTA 5. You know? That's how huge that game was.
I'm like a Rockstar event.
No, it was a midnight launch at GameStop.
Yeah,
they were actually doing one. And the queue was massive. I just remember because obviously before that you had 4 and 3.
We could tell stories about that. Yeah. Because same here. Like I remember going to my mall and it was like circling around. So yeah, it's a big example, and that's why a lot of the times Call of Duty keeps on coming up in this Activision Blizz deal. And this I just thought was an interesting statement where Phil Spencer, this is on IGN, he showed up on the, I think, same Brain YouTube channel, and he was on this podcast that actually, it's an interesting podcast if you're interested in knowing what the head of Xbox has to say about a lot of things. But because this was like also the biggest PlayStation Store launch ever, or something like that. That's at least what the top of this article says. Phil's like, let me make it clear. And I'm going to quote him, we are not taking Call of Duty away from PlayStation. That's not our intent. Our intent is not to do that. And as long as there is a PlayStation out there to ship to, our intent is that we'll continue to ship Call of Duty on PlayStation. Similar to what we've done with Minecraft since we have owned that. Which... cool. DB, can we finally put this to rest?
It never will be put to rest, though. There's still going to be people that are going to say, oh, it's going to be an exclusive to Xbox. No, it's nice not. Why would they do that? They would lose out on sales if they did that. Why would they do that?
These sales. That's why, I think this story was a good way to segue into this, is that, those sales... why would you want to cut that off? And they also just said from this article, I was just looking at, it's the biggest PSN launch ever. And that's why would they take away from that? So, but their strategy, is just to potentially, whenever contracts and stuff are over, is we'll have it on Game Pass. You can still buy it on PlayStation if you want, but it'll be on Game Pass if you want it.
Yeah,
so
true facts.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought, let me double check here. Where was it? There was one question I have. So essentially, I mean, we kind of already hit it, but basically, do you think there's any good and bad of a franchise that sells this hard? Again, the only time it has ever had an opening pass was GTA 5. Is there good and bad to, not making it go exclusive? Treating it very much like they've treated Minecraft, basically, which I think that was a great example. Minecraft, it's been everywhere ever since.
Yeah, and Minecraft is still hugely popular. Like Call of Duty is and always will be popular. Like as long as shooter games are a thing, Call of Duty will be one of the games that are on top of the list because it's so accessible on all platforms, so many people can play them. So it's not going to change. Call of Duty will always be on every platform. I can't see that changing. I really can't. So that's just my opinion.
If it does, then it'll be a long ass time, I feel, but even then it's just, it's going to be a long time. I do question though, if they take this approach with COD, will they take the same approach with like, I don't know, Elder Scrolls or stuff like that? But then we'd be diving into a lot of conversations. But chat, let us know what you think about COD just selling like hotcakes. And I don't know, man, those numbers blew me away. 800 freaking million. That's crazy. That is crazy. I know loads of people over here. Now, I worked the launch of Call of Duty, and it wasn't that, busy. There wasn't like lots of people pre-ordering the game or anything. Then obviously I found out they had a whole early access thing for the campaign. And I found out tons of people just digitally downloaded the game, which of course is convenient. Yeah. So that's obviously where the sales went, was for the digital downloads. Yeah. Yep. The PSN store. That's the prime example. Yep. Second story. That was like the biggest PSN launch ever, apparently, or at least one of the biggest. But I guess ever since PlayStation did their revamp of PS Plus, they have supposedly lost around 2 million subscribers. So I'm going to read the story here first off, and then we're going to get some comments. Yeah. But from IGN, Sony loses nearly 2 million PlayStation Plus subscribers since its service revamp, but they hope PS5 engagement will improve things. Basically, since their revamp, I think in August? Well, let's just read this report. But basically, the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers have fallen by almost 2 million since Sony launched its revamped subscription service in June. That sounds right, because that's when I used it to play Stray in July. According to the company's latest financial report, Sony's multi-tiered PlayStation Plus subscription service has dropped from 47.3 million at the end of June to 45.4 million in the 3 months leading up to September 30th, which is a decrease of 4%. But Sony did highlight that the ratio of gamers subscribed to the service is significantly higher on the PS5 than it is for the previous generation PS4. And that's kind of an interesting stat. What that basically means is they're saying people on PS5 are more subscribed to PS Plus than people that are still on PS4. That's basically what that means. Right. So they'll probably be jumping into that a lot more. But, and a lot of people, just to drop my quick take here, and then I want to get DB's, a lot of people have been talking about this the past week, and it's probably some toxic console war folks that we don't really care too much for. And then there's the folks that just find it interesting. Are they going to respond to this in any way? Are they going to do anything to potentially fix that? Is it anything for them to worry about? It's an interesting talking point, and that's why I'm just bringing it up here, where 2 million people is a lot of people. That being said, there's still 45 million subscribers on there. Which is a lot. And that's a lot huge. More than I think. Okay, I'd have to fact check this. That's more than any other, I think, gaming subscription service out there. I know it's more than Game Pass. I don't know if it's more than Nintendo Online, but it's a lot. So Is this a cause of concern for Sony right now? I personally don't think so. If it continues on this trend, then yes, obviously. Like, okay, we got to flatten that out or make it go back up somehow. But when you've reached a number that high, I just think it's hard to really grow more than that. There's a supplement point I have about that, but DB, what do you think? Like, should PlayStation be worried? Are they going to change anything? Is this much of an effect?
I think it is. I think PlayStation is probably too early to be worrying about that. Like, when you put into context how many people are actually using the subscription service, it's ginormous. So, like, I know 2 million is a lot, but in terms of who is still subscribed, it's not a whole lot. So I think, as you said, if it continues to go on the decline, then maybe a little start worrying. But isn't like console sales going up and software sales are going up? So like everything is kind of balancing out. They're still making profits. Like there is still money, huge amounts of money being made. So I honestly can't see Sony being at all worried about this decline whatsoever. It's curious though, like what do you think caused this decline? Like what was the cause of that? Do you reckon it's just because of the revamp or the changes or the price changes? What?
And that's a good point, because it's as this article just outlined, it's ever since, you know, they did this revamp of PS Plus, which it's hard to accept a revamp. That's the thing. It's hard to accept a revamp for a lot of folks, and I think this could just be the early stages of it. There could also be competition, but then, frankly, my other point was going to be that in the previous show, or like I think 2 shows ago, actually, we talked about how Game Pass is actually generating revenue. Like, sorry, not revenue. Profit for Microsoft, which is crazy. A lot of people thought that was putting them in the hole, but it's actually generating profit. But it also has slowed down its growth on Xbox consoles. That's an important note. So, and PlayStation PS Plus is focused on the PlayStation console, right? Yeah. So maybe it's, as you said, you know, like they just have reached as many people as they can, but for some reason, some people are unsubscribing. Maybe there's just better incentives out there. I don't know. There's so many subscriptions that bounce around too, and I think that's maybe the cause. There's just so many things that bounce around between to decide what you want to keep.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Plus, like, cost of living and stuff has gone up, so that's probably caused people to yeet all their subscriptions.
Yeet.
So, you know, so many factors to think about.
Yeah, we don't know, but it's just it's conversation. There is somebody in the chat I see where is it, Brady, who was like, I love the option to have access to all of those old games, however the selection could be better. The old game selection, it's there, and hell, PlayStation does have a lot of classic games to pick from there, but also Brady says again, people are making cuts everywhere. Yeah, exactly. It's hard times. A lot of people are cutting down. I have been bouncing around. My most favorite subscription, DB, listen really quick. What is the one subscription you will never get rid of? No explanation. Just what is it? For me, fine. For me, Crunchyroll. I never thought I would ever cancel my Crunchyroll subscription because I love anime. It's the best spot to watch anime for me personally. But I'm bouncing around to other things because I'm like, why keep all 3 of them?
Honestly, I have no idea which one I wouldn't. I've had so many for a while now. Like Crunchyroll, I've been subscribed to for, I can't even remember when I first started, because obviously I love anime as well. So that's a tough one. Like Netflix, now and again, we'll watch it. Sometimes there's good stuff there, but not watching it all the time. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Probably Game Pass. Maybe.
Game Pass is the one gaming subscription that I don't think I can ever shut down, even if it's a slow year like this year, because there's just still cool stuff coming to it that I want to try. Anyways, though. Yeah, Nike says in the chat, I think mine is Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is great. The 2-day shipping's great, but all right, chat. Next story up. Still with PlayStation. This one maybe a bit quicker. Oh gosh, I keep doing this thing. There we go. PSVR 2 is gonna be for $550. This comes from PlayStation themselves. I have a blog on screen, as you can see. PlayStation VR 2 launches in February, so that'll be like 3 months from now, for $549.99. Yeah. And I don't even want to elaborate anymore. Gut reaction to that. Go.
Well, it's $549.99 for you guys, but over here it's €600.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Like, that is actually crazy. I can't see people spending that for a VR headset over here.
That was going to be my next question is, do you see people...
like personally, like we had a lot of people asking about VR headsets at work, what one we should go for, what's, more like, friendly to my wallet, and most of the time it just comes to the Oculus Quest 2 because it's like €300 over here, and that's affordable. But this is twice
and it's
that.
A cordless thing. I love that it's cordless. Yeah,
and the whole headset is the console as well. Like, you don't necessarily need a PC to hook it up to. Obviously, you want to play bigger AAA games, probably yes, but you could just play the thing right out of the box, which is so convenient as well. But this VR 2, I've seen some of the specs and stuff, and I can see why it's so expensive. But for the casual consumer, it's like a definite no. Like, I think this is going to only appeal to the hardcore VR enthusiasts, in my opinion.
Chat, I have a poll going on for the game that we're going to do at the end, but I want to see you spam in the chat, yes or no, or maybe would you buy this? For me, I've been dying to get some kind of VR setup. Okay, maybe not dying. It's funny because I see in the chat there's a Matt STL who says, "But would you die for VR?" No, I wouldn't die for it. I want one though because I've done VR before, especially if it's a good setup. It's really freaking cool. And the tech on this thing is, as DB said, it's no lie. Like, it's really good stuff. Like, stuff that's probably worth that, technically speaking. Yeah. But is the average consumer going to care enough to pay for that? Probably not.
No. Honestly, I don't see casual consumers, especially like parents buying for birthdays or Christmas, or they're not gonna, like, if I threw that price tag at them for a headset, they're gonna laugh at me. There's no way they're gonna spend that money. But also, like, bear in mind, like, I don't think it's gonna be that price forever either. I think Sony is gonna realize fairly quickly, like,
I give it like 3 years. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a while, but I agree.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. I don't know what way it's going to go or how sales are going to be, but maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe everybody will want it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I did look at the chat and I was seeing a lot of no's. I think I saw one yes, I'm not sure. And then Jacob, Sarah Cube would be like, I would be the Quest Pro. What? Oh, okay, the message disappeared. Gosh darn it, YouTube. YouTube does this thing where it retracts messages sometimes, and it's not spam. I don't know. But I saw that message, Jacob. I appreciate you adding me. But yeah, I think they announced this in the best way they could also, just doing a blog about it. Because can you imagine like a sizzle trailer or something and it's fancy and then just $549.99? Like,
yeah.
Nah,
look, it's probably going to be like an impressive piece of tech, but
it is.
Like, that's an
totally think it's gonna be
piece of tech, like I said, I don't think it's going to be attractive to the majority of the market out there. I think it's just a small minority of people will want to spend the money on it. So we'll see. Like, even the freaking DualSense Edge is €230 over here.
Okay. Here's just one last little stat. I find it funny that this PSVR, like, it's technically, you need the PlayStation 5 console to use this, right?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
It's more than the console.
Yeah,
well,
that's
for some places.
Yeah.
For some places, they're about the same, but it's about the same or more than the console itself.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing, dude. I don't know.
Imagine a VR PlayStation 5 bundle. Imagine the price tag on that, baby.
Oh. That's
€1,200 and it's yours.
Now, that is basically, for some reason, that sounds more appealing to me than buying them separately. Because, like, I feel like you're just acquiring this VR package. Because to get a VR PC, it's going to cost that or more. So that makes sense. Yeah. But, so maybe that's how they should sell it. Like, get the bundle. Yeah. But
like, it's a VR machine.
Yeah. Yep. I think that could go off way better.
Yeah. Same.
PlayStation, listen to us. Okay. We still have to talk about God of War reviews, but before that, just some little interesting nuggets I thought to hit really quick, like a studio being shut down that was literally acquired 4 or 5 months ago. This year, a studio that was acquired this year gets shut down. This comes from Game Informer. That's basically the Embracer Group. Earlier this year, they bought, I forget all the list, but Square Enix Montreal? Shoot, do you remember that? The Embracer Group basically bought a lot of studios from Square Enix, including the people that made Deus Ex Machina, the new Tomb Raider games, and so on. And they shut down one that they recently just rebranded, like months ago, into something called Onoma. Yeah. And just really quick reading this here. According to Bloomberg Report, video game publisher Embracer has shut down Onoma, formerly known as Square Enix Montreal, just months after its acquisition of all of them. Some staff will be transferred to Eidos Montreal, another studio owned by Embracer. And this news comes just a few weeks after Onoma underwent a rebranding process where it adopted the new name. Now, this first sentence here, Onoma was best known for its work on the Go series, and I almost wanted to talk about this story more, but I didn't realize that this was a mobile studio before catching this. But I don't know, it's still a thing. But yeah, just on screen here, you can see they were responsible for Hitman Go, Hitman Sniper, Lara Croft Go, Deus Ex Go, a lot of the IPs from these studios and stuff that they acquired. A lot of mobile games. So I know a lot of folks, there's a stigma against mobile games, but it's interesting that they acquired this studio and then let them do the rebranding and then shut it down. Even if it's not a big one per se. So, I don't know, just a gut reaction to that. We don't have to spend too long on this. These next two stories will probably just hit really quick, but
I think it's just business. I think that's the only way you can business. But business is business. They obviously had some sort of a plan, but not really, and then decided to just completely flip the switch and just change it altogether. And obviously, cutting costs in whatever way they can. So, like, I mean, if it saves them money or helps them make money, business is business, and that's, I think, there is all to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't think of any other reason why. Yeah.
If sorry, I'm going to be coughing through this podcast, by the way, folks. It's not even a podcast yet. I need to add it to podcast services. But I didn't realize that it was just a mobile studio. I was a little bit worried that they were a bigger thing. And mobile games, I don't want to downplay them. I just know that they're not as important as, say, other things currently. I say currently. I do somewhat like the idea of this studio, the allocating resources of it, like moving them all to help out on another studio on something that we know will sell really well or something. And that's basically echoing what you said, business be business. So yeah. I hope all the people that work there still have jobs. It's unfortunate. It already sounds like a lot of them are transferring, but somebody that turned down, to kind of hit another story here, somebody that turned down apparently numerous acquisition offers is the man, the legend, the myth himself, Mr. Hideo Kojima. I kind of last minute added this story, DB, so I'll just give the preface it. I just thought this is kind of interesting. Apparently this is on GameSpot, but Kojima apparently turned down ridiculously high offers to sell his company, which kind of complements our previous story. And he said this basically on his podcast that he started, which so crazy. We have a Kojima podcast, but
yeah, right.
Kojima says he turned down all offers so far because it's not that I want money. I want to make what I want to make. And his podcast is the Brain Structure podcast, but he says, every day I'm approached by offers all over the world to buy our studio. Some of those offers are ridiculously high prices, but it's not that I want money. I want to make what I want to make. That's why I created this studio. So as long as I'm alive, I don't think I will ever accept those offers. This man gets to have... That's, I don't know, just respect to him, you know?
King shit.
King shit. Yeah. King shit. Like, it's exactly. Respect for him. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's mad respect. The dude knows what he wants, you know? It's like money is no object to this being anymore. It's going to take more than money to sway him away from his own brand. Why would he do that? It's what he loves. It's what he's passionate about. So why would any money...
I think it's just if he wants to make something, and as long as he has full creative rights over it. Like, we know that he's working on something with Xbox and that's especially because, one, sure, maybe they help fund it, but also he needs and wants to use their cloud technology that they have, which is probably maybe the best in the business. Hell, even Nintendo and PlayStation go to them for their Azure cloud technology. So it's like, Kojima just wants to partner with people to keep his studio making whatever games they want. And it's just neat that he's big enough to do that. I'm sure a lot of indie developers would love to be that. My question is, I'm just like, Kojima is technically an indie developer. The line between an indie game and like a AA or AAA game, I don't know what is what anymore.
True.
Because Kojima games, I would never guess that they'd be an indie game, but they are. So
technically, they are, for sure.
Bungie, after they separated from Activision for their Destiny thing, they were an indie studio. So it's just kind of weird. I don't know.
I think it's just the name, you know, it's the branding that throws you off. Like when you hear Kojima, you don't think of anything cheap or small budget. You think of something huge and massive and a big announcement. That's what throws you off, I think. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. There's Jacob in the chat. It's a theory that Xbox, hopefully I read this before it disappears. It's a theory that Xbox had Crystal D working on Xbox's Perfect Dark because that's the other studio on Fable. That is buying ABK was going and saying, can you them for us? Okay, Jacob, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to understand the text of that. But yeah, and who knows? Maybe like Xbox and PlayStation were two of those high offers. I would imagine maybe they were to try to get
probably
Kojima.
Actually, yeah.
Dude, I totally bet because if you get that as a get, then that's a good get. Mm-hmm. So, last news before we get to the main topic at hand is I don't know if I have too much to say on this, but if you didn't know, EA is going to be making 3 Marvel games. Speaking of kind of partnerships, I didn't realize these segue decently into each other. This comes from Bloomberg. EA strikes a 3-game deal with Marvel, and the partnership starts with an Iron Man game, which, DB, I think you said that's like the only thing about this you were aware of before this,
yeah,
right?
like I heard the announcement. Obviously, I was very excited. A big Iron Man fan here, so I was very excited to hear that he's finally getting his own proper game. So I did not know that there was 3 deals made, so that's kind of interesting. I'd wonder like what other superheroes are gonna do, and stuff. But yeah, like it's interesting, but it's also kind of like, well, will EA actually do these very popular characters justice? Like that's what I'm kind of my concern is.
To read this off a little bit, there's they're gonna have a 3-game video deal, and I thought I heard somewhere it's like gonna last 10 years, which cool. Give each of the games like 3 years, 4 years to develop. They're going to develop 3 games for Marvel comic book characters after forging a deal that gives the company access to the most popular entertainment franchise in the world, which is true. The Marvel train does not stop. And I thought, it's not on this quotation thing here, but there was another spot somewhere that said that basically this deal was potentially forged thanks to the success that EA has had with the Star Wars franchise. And I I think Jedi Fallen Order is really the big thing to me personally. But
that's the only thing I can think of.
I really liked. Don't get me wrong. I actually really liked the first Battlefront game. I actually love that game actually, and Battlefront 2 became a lot better. But yeah, I think Respawn with Jedi Fallen Order really did a lot for EA personally, and I don't imagine Respawn will work on one of these Marvel games. If they do, oh my god, I'll be so excited because
because
awesome.
Like, I haven't played Fallen Order. I know. Don't hate me. But I heard that it's got great storytelling and it's got a fantastic narrative. So, like, if they can nail that and they end up doing a Marvel game, then I would be genuinely excited because I think they could pull it off because it's something they've done before. So technically,
if you wanted any Marvel game from EA, what would it be?
If I wanted an EA Marvel game,
because we know that there's Insomniac's got a nail in Spider-Man. There's a Wolverine game in the works. We had our shot at Avengers. There was a good Guardians game. I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been done. I don't know.
I mean, they could really explore Thor.
That's not bad. That's
I mean, there's so much lore with Thor's character and the mythology and everything. Like, there's a lot they could do with Thor. Like having their own original Thor. That's obviously Marvel, but you know what I mean? That could work.
I would almost think, okay, this is a little bit too easy, but I would almost think like a Black Widow game. But I feel like that's what we're going to get with Perfect Dark, you know?
Yeah.
At least hopefully. But, fun fact, Hulk, Hulk, what's it called? Ultimate Destruction. I think it was for like the PS2 and original Xbox. If I got another Hulk game just like that, but like super great graphics, I will. Woo. But anyways,
you'd be happy. I
would be very happy.
Jeez, I don't think I've ever played a Hulk game, to be honest.
Yeah, there was one for the 360 that was based off the new movie. It was cool. Awesome. And I did see somebody in the chat that was, who was it? Somebody was like, oh, it was Jacob. He's like, indeed, DB, I hate you for not playing Jedi Fallen Order. But to me, it's just the best single player Star Wars game we've gotten in like over a decade. It's not fantastic, but it's my previous statement. Yes. All right, folks, we come to the main topic at hand. So we have an epic week coming up that I'm going to show you a graphic soon. But let's talk a little bit about these God of War Ragnarok reviews. God of War Ragnarok reviews are looking stellar right now.
Yeah, spicy.
Very, very tasty. Anyway,
I'm telling you.
I'm going to just round up here, okay? Round up, because this is going to segue into the thumbnail that obviously, folks, I saw some of you guys respond at the beginning. But yeah, this is just on Mirror, but a lot of sites have this accumulations of the God of War Ragnarok review roundup. IGN, 10 out of 10. Push Square, 10 out of 10. Trusted Reviews, 5 out of 5. VGC, 5 out of 5. Eurogamer, recommended, whatever that means. Games Radar, 4.5 out of 5. And so on and so forth. It's just nothing less than 8 out of 10 at the bottom here. But there's a lot of stellar reviews. Not quite as universal as a certain other game, but it is currently sitting at, I think, a 94 on Metacritic, which is essentially a culmination of all these reviews. And the only other game that is this year at that status is the one and only Elden Ring. That was like the favorite for Game of the Year this year. But before asking that, DB, are you what does hearing these God of War reviews do for you? Because for me, I only recently just played the first game. I know. There you go. You could. Yep. I know. Yep.
What?
I know.
I'm jealous.
I've only been jealous. I've only just this year like dived into the PlayStation. Well, actually, that's not true. Yeah, that's not true. I've just this year dived into PlayStation more. I get my bursts of PlayStation, and and I needed to play God of War 2018, and it was an amazing game. And I thought the issue that Ragnarok has is that it's a sequel to an already fantastic game. So
yes, it is.
That to me is an important part of what it is. And I was hoping to see as good reviews as that first game. And it looks like it's managed to do that. I don't know. I'm just going to let you talk here. This is cool to me. It makes me excited for the game. Hearing great reviews is good. You know, your opinion might be different if once, you know, you play the game, but how do you feel about it, DB?
Well, like, obviously seeing the reviews being so good has made me even more excited than I already was for Ragnarok. But as you said, like, God of War 2018 was the introduction of this new reimagining version of Kratos. Same Kratos, but in a different world and a different kind of... It's a different game, really. It really is compared to the older games. And you already get that experience in God of War 2018. So what can they bring to the table in Ragnarok that we haven't already experienced to make it feel like a fresh, new and exciting experience? That's the one thing that I would be worried about, because I've already experienced everything that 2018 God of War had given us. You know, so like, unless they really add so much more new things into this game, like, is it going to be a similar experience, or is it just going to be a great experience that we've already got, but even better than that? So, like, I am excited. The reviews are great. They're like 10 out of 10, and it's fantastic, and there's a lot of hype around it, but I just don't want it to be overhyped. But at the same time, yeah, you know, because that's always an issue when it comes to these big titles. They're so overhyped. But example being Elden Ring, that was extremely hyped up. Everybody was talking about it. I myself was skeptical going in, and then I played it to absolute death, and I love that game so much. It is still my current pick for Game of the Year. So
current,
like, I'm excited. Look, I look forward to get God of War Ragnarok. I hope it's going to blow me away, and I hope I'm not going to be able to pick which one I want for Game of the Year after my entire experience. Yeah, I hope it's going to be a really, really close. You know, I really do. Like, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and you know, so I also agree that I hope that this game has a lot of like new stuff in it to really make it feel like it's not just the same game over again. But you know, from what I've seen from the trailers, it seems like especially the amount of enemies that you fight in this game has been upped. The amount of realms that you go in this game has been upped. And apparently the storytelling is still just as good as the first game. So I'm like, cool. It's the first game, but bigger and better and just improving on what worked. And now DB kind of teased at the sort of main topic at hand here, being a lot of folks, even before these reviews came up, were wondering, is God of War Ragnarok going to be the only game that has been one of the most like locked years for Game of the Year, in my opinion? Yeah, like maybe the last time I could recall something like it was when Breath of the Wild came out back in 2017. That came out early on in the year, and people were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then Super Mario Odyssey came out, and people were like, this is also awesome. Then there was God of War's very own year, 2018, when that first game came out. It was in April. This is going to be hard to beat. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and it managed to triumph over it. I still believe, personally, Red Dead Redemption 2 deserved that one. But anyways, but this year, Elden Ring was like, it is actually, I believe, on Metacritic, is like one of the greatest reviewed games of all time still.
Yeah, it is. It is the greatest reviewed game of all time.
Right.
Like, how do you compete with that?
Like, you see, like those review roundups, there was still a couple 4 out of 5s and 8 out of 10s on there. Elden Ring, I never saw that. It was just always 10 out of 10.
Flawless all across the board, which is, you know, kind of scary, but
yeah,
I can vouch for that because I've played the game. I've got hundreds of hours into it. I've platinumed the game.
Hold on. Do you actually have hundreds of hours into it?
Yeah, I did.
Like, are you at the 200?
I'm 240 something hours. I think 246
Dude, you make
hours.
me feel so much better because I have like over 150, and I'm like,
all right.
How did wait? But did you beat the game though? Or are you on New Game Plus?
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah, I'm on like New Game Plus 4.
Oh, then you're irrelevant because I'm like, I'm still 150 hours and I haven't beaten the game yet.
Bro, what? I think I bet the game like the 95th hour or something like that. Or
that sounds about
maybe,
right.
Actually, no. I think it was actually over 100 Because I've done lots of side stuff. There was a lot of like wandering in the game, which I loved, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
But
I think it was over the 100 mark.
The point of this is, because that's an entire other conversation, but it's just a game that's super universally loved, even by people that like, I don't know about you, but I haven't really touched much of FromSoft at all. I've just heard its reputation. Okay, yeah, there you go. And
yep, there you go. I was Soulsborne noob before I tried Elden Ring. And when I played it first, I was like, I don't know. But I just kind of kept playing it. I was stubborn with it. And I was glad I was, because I just became addicted to it.
Yeah. So for me, it's to answer the question, does God of War Ragnarok will God of War Ragnarok dethrone Elden Ring as like the favorite? Because that's what I'm going to describe it as, because it hasn't happened yet. And ultimately, game of the year is your game of the year, but then there's what we're talking about is just what is going to be like the universal game of the year kind of a thing. That's all it is. It's to me, I love award season. I watch the Game Awards for the awards, not for the reveals, believe it or not, because I love recognition. And Elden Ring has been the favorite all year, but Ragnarok, people have said, will probably be the one thing to give it a run for its money. It looks like that is the case. Yes or no, will it overtake it?
I think it's going to come close, but it's not going to. That's what I think. And a reason for that
I'm not sure.
you have this thing, you see, God of War Ragnarok, it's a PlayStation exclusive, and Elden Ring is available to like the masses. Like literally anybody can play Elden Ring.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So like more people have played Elden Ring, I think. Before, like obviously when Ragnarok was released, I think that's where Ragnarok may fall, just because of that reason.
So there's an interesting thing you almost like, because there's a point that I want to bring up where I posted this and I knew that it's a controversial take. I almost wonder if it's recency, because people have reviewed it and they're going to be aware of it. I think people submit their nominees for the Game Awards by the 10th to 15th. It's somewhere in that window, I think. I'm not totally sure about that. I almost wonder if recency bias is a thing, or it might not be a thing, because I get worried that like they just played this amazing game and they're like, Elden Ring was great, but Ragnarok's really good because I just came off of it,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Luke. People are going to be riding the high until the end of the year, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I get you. Yeah, so
actually, a good example of this. Last year at the Game Awards, Halo Infinite won the People's Choice Awards. And then look at Halo Infinite now, like people are kind of like back and forth about it, but it got the People's Choice because it was like fresh. It was new. So
yeah, that's true. That actually could come into play. I don't know. It's going to be very close. Yeah. I think it's going to be very close, but I don't think Ragnarok is going to beat Elden Ring. I definitely think it's going to be the runner-up. Like, at the least, that for sure. It's going to be between those two. Yeah, plus Elden Ring has been out for quite some time now, so more and more people have had the chance to experience it and truly like experience
experience it.
And still experiencing it. And again, Ragnarok is literally just coming out and it doesn't have much time left to really. But then again, you said it could be people that are riding the high of Ragnarok. They'd be like, oh yeah, I loved Elden Ring, but Ragnarok is so good because it's just fresh in their minds. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting showdown, that's for sure. Like,
we haven't had one like this since, I would say, was the first God of War versus Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, that was the last time we had a face-off like this that people knew was going to be between those two. God of War came out that year. Or it came out on top, I should say. So, I personally, my last note is I haven't played Ragnarok, and I'm sure I'm going to probably love it. I'm personally rooting for Elden Ring just because I feel like it set a new bar for like things in general that like Ragnarok's going to be great, but it's been done kind of a thing. But Elden Ring, I'm just like, this is an open world that I don't even know how it is possible kind of a thing. I find new shit around every corner. Like, I don't know. It set a new bar to me. And I think that's the more important thing than like how you personally might feel it resonated with you. I don't know, but
yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think Elden Ring was such a new, fresh experience for me personally, not just because I haven't played a Soulsborne game, but the whole open world was just revolutionary. It was literally you put in a world and you figure shit out yourself, and that's how you get through it. And that's what made it so exciting every single time you booted up the game. So I don't know, like you said, God of War 2018, we've seen that, and Kratos is awesome and all, but Ragnarok is a sequel to an already good game, so
we will probably love it, and we will find out. But those are the main topics at hand, folks. I do want to just give a quick shout out to folks. We're still going to be rolling because there's a little extra little nugget where we're going to have a moment with you, the chat. We're going to play a good game. Shout out to Andy, Nike, Casual Gamer, Cass, Jacob. There's actually quite a few of you. Velvet. Cass. And I do see some folks like, so you're saying Sonic Frontiers has a chance? I mean, look, Sonic Frontiers, you are okay, hold on. We're going to get to that. Let's just get to this next part really quick. So coming out this week, we have, this is a segment I like to do in the show. I've previously done at the beginning, but now I want to do at the end to tease into what could we be talking about next Sunday, right? So next Sunday, we could be talking about these where Halo Infinite is going to be getting a massive winter update that's going to be adding Forge and co-op and new things about your progression and to the matchmaking. It's a very big update that I'm shocked that they didn't just stick with calling it Season 3. Sonic Frontiers, a game that we potentially should be talking about for Game of the Year. And God of War Ragnarok, potentially a very anticipated game. Yeah, so these are the three things coming out this week. This coming week. And there's a shout out to also, Football Manager 2023 and Dying Light 2 Stay Human Bloody Ties DLC. DB, do any of these, like, we just talked about Ragnarok a lot.
We did. Now,
Sonic Frontiers.
I wanted to squeeze in there. I was just like, you know, is there any other games that you think are worthy to compete with these titans? Like, I know Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is getting a lot of love and a lot of great reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But is there any other games that you think that can compete with these two? Like, just
dude, I think, and I just heard on the Kind of Funny podcast, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is not going to get enough love this year. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is not going to get enough love, but I thought that was a great game. Not like fantastic, but I think it was great. My like personal game of the year is still probably Elden Ring, but like runner up is Tunic. I freaking love Tunic. It's
I've yet to play that one.
Yeah, it's a very indie game on I think everything now basically. But you can play it on Game Pass. Should still be on there. But yeah. Like if there was a third place person though, I don't know. That's a good call. But for me, I just feel like honorable shout out to Tunic and Kirby. But how's Sonic Frontiers gonna fare?
Honestly, I don't know. I think the reason why Sonic Frontiers gets forgotten about is because, well, I think a lot of even the Sonic
Sega has the balls to release that a day before Ragnarok.
I know, right? It's almost as if, oh yeah, we got this. I'm like, okay.
Oh my god.
But we'll see. I am looking forward to Frontiers. Like, I want to experience Sonic again in a fresh new way. And I think, from what I'm hearing anyway, Frontiers is already doing quite well with reviews and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to pick it up. I don't think
reviews are out, are they? Well, here,
I've heard some people already.
Yeah,
there was already review copies.
Yes,
yeah, people have been getting codes and stuff, and they've said good things about it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am. Like Frontiers, yeah. Bring it on. We'll see.
I have a friend that they are. So here you go, Sega. It's Titus actually. He's like Sonic Frontiers. I'm like, what about Ragnarok? Yeah. So there are going to be some people out there that absolutely. I know that there's Nike in the chat that's going to be stoked about it. And I'm very curious to see if we finally get a hopefully great, but just at the least a really good Sonic game. That's what I want to hear from this. Like more than anything, I don't even need to play it. I just want to know Sega finally produced a really good Sonic game. And Halo Infinite, there's Koba in the chat, but that's my thing. This week, I am so stoked to just have co-op on Zeta Halo, which is a place that 343 went nuts on with that world, and explore the community stuff in Forge mode. That is, I'm telling you, man, it is crazy. I went to like a live panel at the Halo World Championships. People, the general gaming community is underestimating Forge mode, I think, and what that could potentially do as a free-to-play game. That's the other crazy part. It's a free-to-play game, and people basically can develop their own video game in this game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just stoked for this update. But DB, I remember, like, I think it was a couple years ago, you were hopping into the Halo franchise hard, and have you been away from Halo Infinite, and does this do anything for you, or are you even aware of this update?
I'm aware. I keep up to date with the stuff, but I haven't touched Infinite since I've beat the campaign. But I do agree. Like, I did like Zeta Halo. I think it was one of the most fun worlds to just kind of just blow shit up in and all that stuff. So I think it's awesome that co-op is finally going to be a thing now. I think it's probably, for me personally, too late, but I think if I booted it up and asked a friend to jump on, I know I'd have a really good time. And I know the Forge thing is a huge deal when it comes to the Halo community. So I look forward to seeing what people actually come up with and seeing
will
like
this
the
bring
YouTube
you
videos
back?
And stuff.
Be honest.
I
here.
think so.
Okay.
I think it will. But it'll take some time. I think.
It'll take some
Like,
time.
right.
What does that mean?
I'll have to wait and see. I want to see what people come up with and what people are saying.
This is actually a question for you, like on a personal level. Are you much of a multiplayer guy? Because I don't feel like I've heard too much from you on that front.
No, I rarely play multiplayer games.
Then that might be a factor too.
Yeah, true.
So,
like, I never experienced the whole online Halo experience. Like, I never really did. It
Golden
never
Age, man.
was
Golden
something.
Age.
Yeah, like, I know for a lot of the Halo community it is, but I didn't grow up with Halo. I was a PlayStation dude for so many years, so it was just not something that was in my, region or whatever when it comes to gaming. So, yeah, like, I think I will try Infinite again when all this new stuff drops, but we'll see. Yeah. Maybe you can reintroduce me to Halo again.
Dude, if we could get in communication consistently, like, let's freaking go. Like, I am down. That's what, for me, people keep talking about Forge, but I'm like, you mentioned co-op and it's a bit too late for that. I agree. But I am just stoked to, like, just back in the day, we need to move on, but just basically back in the day, we had something called the therapy room in Halo 3, where me and my friends, like, we just forged this room and just chill out in there and just hang out and talk about whatever. But now I'm like, that's Zeta Halo. Like, I'm just down to just chill in that world. We don't even need to do the levels again. Let's just go around and explore shit. But anyways, and yeah, Andy Kennett says Halo Forge stream when DB? I don't know. All right. Casual gamers spamming, but we're talking about games, man. That's all we're doing. We're about to get to the good game, though, if that's what you're getting at. So, in chat, this is a moment with the chat. If anybody has any final thoughts before we have a friendly good game between me and the lovely DB, which it looks like the poll is just barely teetering to 20 questions. So that's going to put you on the spot. But really quick, there was a patron send-in that I want to shout out and get an answer to, but this is from Capone, who's a lovely big tier supporter patron. With narrative-driven games becoming more popular in recent years and being pushed more with cutscenes so gameplay doesn't need to be shown to sell it, do you think this is overall bad, good, or both for gaming? Like, the good being gaming becoming less niche, and bad being non-narrative focused games get overshadowed. Thank you very much for that, Capone. I definitely get where you're coming from, but I disagree that narrative stuff is becoming the all-around focus. Like, hell, look at Elden Ring. That game barely has a narrative.
I still don't get the lore, but I love the game.
Yeah, it's the biggest game of the year, potentially, I mean, I guess not Modern Warfare 2, but I do get where he's coming from. To me, I still think gameplay is still going to happen. You see Nintendo, like, they are Nintendo doing their own thing, not being in comparisons because they have fun-ass gameplay. That's what they do. But I do think narrative-wise, we are getting sucked into that And I don't know. I just always think gameplay is an important thing to show when marketing the game, and publishers know that as well. And that's about it. I'm not sure what else to answer with this. I don't know if you have anything, DB. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, well, I think these narrative-driven games, they're a very specific type of game. Like PlayStation obviously have their exclusives, and they're usually narrative-driven. So there's a big storytelling, and cutscenes obviously are needed to tell that story the proper way for everybody to understand, especially a wider audience to understand. You need a cutscene playing to tell the story. And then the gameplay, of course, is a main focus as well to essentially make it a video game. So I don't think like that's going to be something that's going to take over games in general, by any means. Because there's so many different types of games that don't even need a narrative or a story to be a good game, So yeah, I think it's an interesting question, but there's nothing to worry about. There's a specific type of game that uses that particular method to tell a story. So.
One last question from the live chat, which is from Jacob, and I missed the question earlier, but if Bethesda Machine Games are killing it with Indiana Jones, I keep forgetting that's a thing. Gosh dang.
Oh, yeah.
Will Phil be like, I've said before that I hate doing third-party exclusives, but go ham on it. I've said before that I hate doing third-party exclusives, but go ham on it. Oh, I see. I think he's getting at like if Indiana Jones does fantastic and it is multi-plat? Jacob, can you rephrase? Do you get what he's getting at?
Not really.
I think I'm going to assume, Jacob, I'm sorry. I'm going to assume because I want to get to the good game here because we're hitting the hour, but basically if Indiana Jones does great, and then if they do release it as a multi-plat or something, but it's successful, and then they're like, maybe we should make that exclusive. I don't see Phil going that route. I really don't. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like 20 questions is our winner. So DB, do you know how 20 questions works?
Give me a refresher course.
So, folks, we are going to do our friendly good game, which is basically at the end of these shows, I want to encourage a good fun time to have something else to look forward to at the end where we play a friendly good game together. Sometimes I'm involved, sometimes I'm simply the host, and this time it looks like you guys voted for 20 questions, which basically, to explain how this works, you get to ask up to 20 yes or no questions. They can only be answered by yes or no. You can't say, like, what genre is it? I can't answer that because I can't answer that with yes or no. But if you said, like, is this an open world game? I can answer that because I can say yes or no. And you use that to figure out what video game you are trying to figure out is.
All right. Okay. So you try to figure out what the game is. Okay.
Yeah. You're trying to figure out what the game is over 20 questions. And this is tough. Right. I kind of wish that they didn't choose this because this is a tough one to put you on the spot with.
It's a tough one, yeah. Sure, we'll give it a go anyway.
And especially because we're at the hour, it's like all the more pressure too. I don't want to keep you here too long, but just do your best and try to keep moving. But obviously, you can take moments to think.
Cool.
And we didn't get one sent in, but I have one in mind. So I'm gonna do the start. Let the questioning begin. All right, what's your question?
Did the game come out in the last 5 years?
No, it did not.
Did the game come out in the last 10 years?
Say that again?
Did the game come out in the last 10 years?
No.
Was it released within the last 10 years? Okay, we're going way back. Is it an open world game?
I'm going to open a fact sheet. Chat, your job is to quote his questions and say like Q1, this question, and then the answer. This is a tough... I'm going to say soft no. This is not an open world game. Soft no, though.
Soft no, okay.
Just imagine that meaning. You get a little bit of freedom, but not quite one continuous environment.
Is it a Square Enix game?
No.
Right.
Try to write too.
Is it a game I've played on the channel?
I can't answer that. I think I know the answer, but I don't want to give you like a potential wrong one.
Right, okay, fair.
So
fair.
that one don't count.
Okay. This is tough, dude. Okay,
it's
let me
think. Try to think like broad questions to like narrow out a lot of stuff, kind of a thing.
Right, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Is it a shooter?
No. That is not a shooter.
Okay. Let me think. How many questions did I ask now? I feel like I've already asked like half of them.
I'm trying to, I know you said 5 years first, then 10 years.
Yeah,
and then
that's two.
Open world, Square Enix, shooter.
So 5.
Is that right, chat? I think that's
not too bad.
I feel like I saw somebody say 6, but I think 5. Those are the only ones I remember. Okay. Oh, you asked about like if you streamed it, but I couldn't give you an answer, so that didn't count.
Oh, right, yeah, true.
Okay.
Let me think. Jeez.
A lot of no's. I'm like writing these down. A lot of no's. But that's still
Is it a PlayStation exclusive?
No.
It. I was hoping you'd say yeah. That would make my life so much easier.
That's a Hail Mary, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Has there been sequels to this game?
Yes. Finally a yes.
Finally a yes. Okay.
And usually, by the way, you have a specific title in mind if it's part of a franchise. Sometimes it might not be, but if it is, you have to guess like the specific entry. So you're asking, did this game have sequels? The answer is still yes.
Right. Okay. Damn, this is tough. This could be anything. Oh, man.
This is a tough game. The chat chose literally the toughest game on you.
Yeah, I hate you, chat. What you got to do this to me? Hey.
44 votes.
God, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Jeez.
My
main protagonist a male?
Yes, the main protagonist is a male.
Okay.
That's
I don't
helpful.
know if that helps me like at all, but we'll see.
I know there's a lot of. It's not Tomb Raider.
Is it Uncharted? No, wait, that's PlayStation exclusive. God damn it! I wasted your question.
No, I won't count that.
You sure?
Also,
okay,
you can't guess the specific title because once you do, the game's over. So.
Oh, okay, right. God, this is hard.
It's hard. My tip is I usually spend like the first 10 questions with super broad stuff to like rule out a lot. And then I spend the back half getting very specific.
Okay. Because I asked you if it was open world and you said no, right?
Yeah. You asked if it was PlayStation
you said it was
exclusive.
a soft no. Soft no.
Soft no.
Right.
It's not a shooter. It's not from Square Enix. It's not a PlayStation exclusive. Male MC, yes. Had sequels, yes. Now you need kind of more specifics. So that's 8 questions.
I'm trying to think of questions to ask that will just make this easier. Is it a Nintendo exclusive?
I want to throw you a bone so bad, but it's not a Nintendo exclusive.
God damn it!
It's a bit late for it, but that's the only reason I'm saying it's a bit late for it, but I just would have started with, was this a platform exclusive title?
That's what I should have done instead of asking separately. God damn it. Like a moron.
You get better and better at this game when you hear people do it and when you do it. So if it's your first time, then no worries.
I think I've played this game before, but I can't remember the last time I've played this game. Jeez. Okay, so it's not a platform exclusive. That's fine. No, you're shaking your head now. So it must be an Xbox exclusive.
I'm just saying I didn't.
That wasn't a question. That wasn't a question.
Right. I'm just saying there's still platforms out there. It could be PC exclusive too.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna throw you a bone because if this is difficult, I welcome you to look at the chat as they if they might think of a good question or they might have some neat answers, especially because we're doing it so late in the show. But they might missteer you too. I don't know if it's gonna be that helpful. I usually say don't look at the chat, but so far, nobody knows what this is but me.
So far, chat have no clue either. So
yeah.
Trying to think back to the games that I played years ago, but there's nothing that's coming to mind. Is this a popular IP? Like everybody knows it?
Soft yes.
Oh god damn it!
I'm gonna lean towards. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna lean to a yes. It's I picked a game that's mainstream enough. I personally believe that whether you played it or not, you've at least heard of or seen this title before.
Okay. Right. So okay.
So it's like a soft yes. Yeah.
Right.
But that's a good question.
Yeah, there's nothing coming to mind here. I'm telling you, there's not. You've ruled out open world. Yeah, I can't. Shooter, it's not a shooter. Could be a platformer. Then again.
All right, I'm gonna throw you a bone here. I kind of like Lee's question. Is the developer Japanese? That's a good lifeline to take.
Is the developer Japanese?
I need a yes. The developer. I'm gonna for sure say the publisher Japanese.
It's Japanese. Okay.
And it involved a Japanese developer as well.
Okay, I think I might know now what you're leaning towards. I think. Is it Metal Gear Solid?
I like you're just guessing. I'm gonna throw you one bone. This is gonna count as a question for you. This game is not a meta, as in it has nothing to do with the show that we've done today.
Wow. Okay. That doesn't help at all.
There's no connection to anything we talked about today. Okay, maybe if by a stretch, but
yeah, there's nothing coming to mind.
All right.
Let me see. No, there's literally
all right.
Nothing coming to mind.
If I'm going to give you an offer, I'm going to give you 3 hints in exchange. Okay, I'm going to give you, actually, no. 2 hints and a chat question in exchange for your 8 remaining questions. How about that?
Fair. Because I don't even know what questions to ask you now.
Yeah, that's what happens like when you're drawing such a blank. Okay. My 2 hints is this was first released on the 360. Okay. This was first released on the 360. And it's, I don't want to be too obvious with the hint though. The main character is, this is very obvious, damn it. The main character is into photography. He's a photographer.
Okay. Right.
The main male character is a photographer, and it released on the 360 and was developed and published by a sort of Japanese developer. I'm just going to glance at the chat and see if they have anything helpful for you.
Well, I mean, the only photographer I can think about is Spider-Man. That's literally. But
there's a lot of people saying that.
I'm not aware of any Spider-Man games on the 360 though.
Okay, so far I'm not seeing any question. I'm seeing guesses. Okay, so I'm gonna throw you one more.
Photographer. No, I can't. All I can think of is Spider-Man. That's all I can think of.
All right, I'm just gonna throw you this last bone. The Japanese developer publisher is Capcom. A Capcom 360 game where the main character is a photographer. It's not open world, but there is a lot of stuff to go to in the game.
Okay. I think it's a game I haven't played, but I... Photographer.
Yeah, I see the chat figuring it out. Don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat. They're figuring it out.
I'm not looking at the chat. I'm trying to think. Capcom. Xbox. So you're saying... Yeah.
All right.
I think it's... Is it Alan Wake? No.
Is the game Alan Wake? No.
Is it?
It is not.
I don't see. I've never played Alan Wake, so I'm not sure if he's even a photographer.
The answer to this Capcom-made game that was not open world but open zone. So there's a lot of like spots in this mall that you could go to where you're killing a lot of zombies.
Oh, right. Okay.
Dead Rising.
I would never have got that. Never played Dead Rising. Never played it. I would have been all day trying to get that shit. All day.
I should have been so much more generous on you.
Oh,
but
shit.
Still a good attempt.
Of course you pick an Xbox 360 game. And I never even owned a feckin' Xbox 360.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. See, I should have like, I was thinking about this too. I'm like, do I like purposely look into his history and like pick something he is like for sure played, or do I make it hard by just picking something at least somewhat mainstream enough that he might be aware of it, kind of a thing?
No,
I honestly went with the latter.
Yep, would never have got that, but good one. That was difficult. I was just drawing a blank every single time. Nope.
It's all good. Well, that's okay. That was good for. I do see. There was a couple people I saw. I think it was Koba figured it out. Yeah, Koba is like, didn't Dead Rising release on Wii? It released on PlayStation 3 and Wii as well. Eventually, that's why I said it first released on 360. I was careful with the wording. Yeah. And that's why I wasn't comfortable about open world, because it's not, you have like loading screens to go to each area of the mall, and they are very explorable. It's like 64 Mario kind of a thing. So
yeah, like I was leaning towards like Fable, but then he says it's not really open world. I know the old Fable games are still technically open world, aren't they? I've never really played them, so
yeah, same here.
So I don't know, but yeah, Dead Rising would never have got that in a million years.
Have you played any Resident Evil?
I've played Resident Evil games.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I maybe should have picked that because that's a bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
So
I probably, Resident
I was
Evil's
just
probably
worried
something
because
I
if I picked it, I don't know if I would have been able to answer because I haven't played a Resident Evil. So
okay, fair.
yeah,
fair.
but still, like, yeah, there was, yeah, it's fine. Anyways, good job, folks. Folks, this has been the one and only legendary and awesome 300K plus following Mr. DeeBeeGeek being on Code Name Good Game. I purposely picked that title so it's fun to say, and I always mix up my tongue. But dude, thanks for being here so much. We really appreciate it, and feel free to drop any final comments. Like, this has been fun with you, and I see Baden with the feck, the FECK. Perfect, dude. So yeah, any final comments and anything you're working on or going to be doing this week, let us know.
Yes, first of all, it's been great being here. It's awesome to actually finally get to do this with you, and I love what you're doing with Codename Good Game. It's fantastic, and you've had great guests so far, so it's been an honor. So thank you for having me. But yeah, I think, speaking to your community, if you don't know who I am, I stream games on Twitch 3 to 4 times a week, and I upload content regularly on YouTube. It's a good time on both platforms. Head over there if you want. Be sure to check us out and the community. We're also on Discord. Amazing amount of amazing people on the community Discord as well. So yeah, again, dude, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast, and we should definitely do this again sometime soon.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. So it's been fun. All right, I was gonna say chat. I'm still dealing with COVID, folks, but it's Toadster, also known as Kiwi. I do see James Gable sent in a super chat, our first Codename Good Game super chat. Thank you so much, good sir. This was fun. Sending love from the DeeBeeGeek community. Thank you very much, James. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, James. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope this has been fun for you, chat. I do see get some rest, because yes, I am still with the vid, but I wanted to do this because we had this scheduled out, and I'm glad we finally did it. So chat, you have a lovely Sunday. Have a friendly good game. Enjoy this week with Sonic, Halo, and God of War. Oh, this is going to be a lovely week.
It's going to be epic.
And whatever you're watching, it's a good time for anime folks too. All right, chat. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.